Buhl City Council meeting of April 6, 2021 to order. Ryan, would you please take the roll?
Councilor Lehman.
Here.
Councilor Carter.
Here.
Councilor Marcus.
Here.
Mayor Clarich.
Here. 3, council additions to the agenda. We've got to make a couple of changes here as long as we have some people in the audience. We want to get them on first. They were towards the end. So I'm going to move item J, the city trailer park agreement, to the first item of business right before letter A under number 5 business. So we'll move right to that. And then I wish to add an item, a new item K, which will be a new junk vehicle ordinance. And we'll move that to K. K, which is councilor's comments, will then become L. Mayor's comments, which were L, will then become M. So those are the switches we'll make tonight for that.
I'd like to have an amendment on item H with our contract agreement with Minnesota Power. I talked to Tony Ward. Tony Ward was a past public utilities administrator for Grand Rapids. And
John, let's bring that up during that time.
Well, I was just gonna make sure that, because he said he
we'll make that under, if you bring that up under the conversation, we can add it at that time.
Okay,
you know,
perfect.
Because it's on the agenda, so we'll just expand it on the agenda. So you don't have to explain all this right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't get, so it's in an appropriate comment time there, so. Okay, next is the consent agenda. The A minutes, regular city council meeting of March 16th, 2021, special council meeting of March 22nd, 2021. Then under B, claims, payroll number 7, $12,786.56. Payroll March, $2,800, and then accounts payable, $44,936.66. Is there a motion to approve the minutes and the claims that totaled $60,523.22?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Brandon. Any comments, questions, concerns of any of the buildings? Or the minutes?
To the St. Louis County Auditor, waste assessment on Lake Leander.
That's a yearly fee that we pay the county for solid waste transfer fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just a yearly annual one-time charge for that property.
So it is standard then, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's something we've done for years, but yeah.
Good question.
That's what that is.
Okay.
Anything else, council? If not, Ryan, please take the roll.
Councilor Lehman?
Yes.
Councilor Carter?
Yes.
Councilor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Clarich?
Yes. Okay, we'll now move on to 5 business, and we have 1 visitor, 2 visitors to speak now before the council about the city/trailer park agreement, and it'll be a discussion. So, welcome to the council.
Thank you.
Do you wish to speak first, or just be part of the conversation as we move on with this?
Be part of the conversation.
Be part of the conversation, okay, and feel free, if there's something you want to bring up, feel free to get our attention, and we'll let you speak or ask questions or clarify things for us. Fair enough? Okay. So Ryan, do you just want to highlight that for us, and then council, if we have questions or whatever, we'll ask, and then our guests certainly will be able to ask questions also or clarify things for us.
Recently, Tom, Trent, and myself met just to kind of talk about a few things with the trailer park. Obviously, the city and the trailer park have had a relationship for how many years and how we kind of do things. Nothing's ever been put in writing, which we should have some type of something in writing that kind of lays out responsibilities, maintenance, billing, basically how we're currently doing things. I mean, most of the stuff, and Tom, correct me if I'm wrong, is pretty straightforward and standard. The one kind of issue that we've talked about is how the city views connections to that trailer park. We kind of talked, and we're in an agreement, plus at the last meeting there were recent repairs that Tom took care of that for that break, which, you know, we consider that private infrastructure. So kind of Tom's point that he was making is that trailer park, you know, as a unit should only be considered one connection. Currently, the city is charging him for kind of unused or vacant trailers. The base charge is similar to what we do with other properties in town. However, I think the point trying to be made is since the city, you know, and Tom are kind of, you know, in agreement that the trailer park infrastructure is private, that maybe we should look at doing it as one connection where, you know, they're not being charged base charges when obviously nothing's being used, and, you know, essentially it's all their private infrastructure that's connected to those trailers. So,
Yes,
That's somewhere, yeah,
that's kind of
that's clear.
what I
That's
was thinking of.
clear to me.
Just because, you know, there's so many service fees then that involve with that. So if we have a constant flow of water then going through ours, and then it's connected onto the backside, I know it's good to have a constant water flow through there or whatever, but that's also usage of the park's infrastructure, you know, going down to other places or whatnot in town. If for somehow or some way, like everybody else in the park then that's paying service fees, if we could work something out with that then, you know, if we're just getting charged one service fee, but then everybody else still has to pay service fees for them. So then when we do have breaks, we can be able to take care of that, like we have been here, like this past year, and we're gonna be going forward, you know.
How many, do you have the water meters, or is that ours?
There are water meters of the cities.
yeah, I mean, each individual trailer would still be monitored and billed the same as everybody
Yes.
else in town, and the same thing we're doing right now. It's just a matter of, you know, kind of those vacant
Lots,
Vacant
so
lots.
they're not being charged. So if something happens, somebody moves out, or they just, you know, leave the house or whatnot, then we have to go from there. So if we go to purchase that house, then there's so many fees that are on it, or we're paying that every single month, and then it's hard to do something with that at that point then. So since it is our infrastructure and our land, if it's sitting there without any meters on it, it doesn't get charged any fees.
So that's fair for our residents of the city, but it's also fair to you as
Yes.
the owner, and it's fair to your people that rent from you.
Right.
Evidently, you worked that out with Trent and Ryan when you were
Yes.
putting this all together, okay?
I mean, the main difference is like an empty trailer isn't a direct connection to the city's infrastructure. It
Right.
runs through Tom's private infrastructure.
Yep.
So that is number 6 on this outline here that we have in
Yeah.
front of us about the connections. And the attorney will, as he drafts this, that will be included so it's clear to the Gibsons and clear to all the council. Okay.
As long as the council's in agreement to what we're kind of
I
looking at.
can't speak for my other council.
And Tom knows that if somebody walks out of, you know, his trailer, Tom's still responsible up to that point, but he's talking about after that point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you'll
So if there's
inform us, or
nothing-
you'll be in constant touch with Ryan or
Exactly.
with Diane or whomever. Okay.
Like that just happened here, so we were in contact with them and let them know that that's happening right now, as we're speaking with one house, as
Okay.
it throws up or whatnot. But
Well, right now, I guess that councils, do you have any questions of Ryan, Trent, or the Gibsons about this? It seems pretty straightforward to me. I think it's fair. I like it. And then Gibsons, if there's anything that you need more clarification of or any comments you want to make, otherwise we can, I'll ask for a motion, but not quite yet. I'll just see if there's any questions or concerns.
So as it sits right now, you guys have met, right?
Yep.
You have terms on both sides, agree upon everything?
We'll have to probably work out a little bit more fine details on it, or
Okay.
if you guys draw something up,
Okay.
then we'll work with each other back and forth. We're gonna make it kind of as easy as possible, but just to make it right on both ends, so, you know, if there's service things running through or whatever, like
Well, that was my
it's
question.
fair.
Does the city's, utilities run through your infrastructure.
Yes.
Charlie Moore put that in, city didn't put that, he developed that trailer park
Yeah,
by
built that
himself.
infrastructure. It does, well, my only question is, does water flow into his park and then out the other end?
Well, yeah, but it's not metered. So none of that water, doesn't matter if it's going in or out. It prevents a dead end kind of situation. Your water doesn't get stagnant. When it
Right.
comes in over here and it's going out over there, that's circulating his water all the
Gotcha.
time.
Okay.
And it's actually good for him. And like I say, and neither end is metered, so even if we had a leak on the other end, it wouldn't affect him, you know.
Okay.
Right. But there should be something then with that too, you know. I mean, yes, it is good, I agree with you on that there's a constant water flow, but there's also, you know, constant usage of that going through there.
Oh, you're
That's what I was
right.
saying, like
Wow.
on service fees or something, you know, if we could come up with some kind of agreement on that, because if there's constant water flowing through something, that's a constant wear and tear on something.
Yeah, but that's a benefit for you.
Right.
I mean, if we shut the other end off and run a water line from South Memorial to hook up to where we tied into you, that's not a benefit for you. I mean, we've been doing that all over town, is we come up, a lot of these alleys are dead end,
Yep.
so we're going from this alley to that alley, so it's looped, keeps the water fresh all the time.
Right.
If you tell us to shut your one end off,
Yep.
then you're losing, that pipe in that ground is good for 100 years. You've got that PVC pipe in there.
Yeah. But you don't agree that if what if that main pipe does break or something happens to that or anything, you know? Then what? You know, I know I have to take responsibility for it because it is my infrastructure, so I would have to pay somebody to come in there,
Yeah.
dig it up. We have to shut off the mains and somehow get it shut off on the back side and the front side and then fix it. If you know where I'm coming from on that, you
Yeah.
know?
So basically, then, would that come under, the document in front of me, under one ownership? Or do we have to clarify that a little bit further? Or would that be a number 7 on here, or does that come under connections? I'm not real clear. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page on this.
Right, exactly.
As the attorney draws it up, and if there's any fine tuning,
Yep.
that can still happen.
Right.
The basic concept is here.
Yep.
And that would be a fine tune. I don't think that's something that's gonna hold us up for passing this tonight, but.
Well,
Right,
I wouldn't,
exactly.
me personally wouldn't be in favor of paying a service charge to basically help, you know, keep the water clean and moving. And the water's not, it doesn't move in the water line. It's basically sitting there until somebody opens up their tap.
Right.
It's not going like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know what kind of wear and tear you talked about on your line.
Well, because there's a constant flow.
Well, there isn't a constant flow.
It'd be minimal flow, like, so if Ryan were to turn his faucet on down by the pit, the amount of water that he's
Pulling
got
is
coming out of
just
the
that
faucets, the amount of
2
water
gallons
that's
or
going
whatever.
through.
Yeah.
So it's not like a sewer system where it can flow, well, it's just whatever water's being used to down the line, which you only, right now I have Ryan and Al down his stuff.
But we have this, like Johnny just said, with some of our alleys, that's how we have to loop it, because, so it's not a closed
Just the
end.
benefit of the customer.
Yeah.
I mean, that water's not, you know, under pressure moving unless you have a problem someplace. You're just sitting there, just like in a water tank. It just sits there until it's, you know, you need the pressure someplace.
Right, exactly. I understand that completely. You know,
I'm for what you're talking about, but I'm not for charging the city for a service charge to run water.
no, I don't want to charge the city or whatever. I just want, you know, like, so we got so many people in the park then that are paying service fees for the water lines and everything.
To the city, right?
And the service that the city is providing to the park to work something out like that. Because we are one unit, so we'll get charged one service fee and then work out something else with the rest of it. I understand that the city still needs to have their service fees, correct? And so should we. So if something like this does happen and they do break, there's funds for that.
Are you saying to bill your people a couple extra cents to put in a pot for you? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm kind of missing it. It's kind of a little disjointed here. I'm
Well,
not quite following it.
Each unit on that property gets charged a service fee by the city, correct?
Correct.
The same as my house or your house, everybody's house
Yep.
is. So, if that's your infrastructure, can the city be doing that? I mean, that service fee is for, what's that for?
It's on water lines,
It's O&M.
sewer lines.
Operation and maintenance.
Yeah, operation and
Well, if
maintenance.
it's his infrastructure, why is the city billing his lots individually?
Right.
Well,
I mean,
it's
they're
like the State Street Apartments.
Does each unit get billed a service fee?
Yeah, there's 23 apartments in there, and if 3 of them aren't being used, we don't bill, still bill the hookup, the water, the sewer, because we have to pay our new water, or wastewater plant a monthly fee, no matter what. They just count numbers and they bill us.
And it's yearly upkeep, operations and maintenance. I mean,
Operation and maintenance, that goes for the whole lines in the whole city, and not just.
that everybody's responsible for.
You have like the nursing home, and you have, even at the school, we bill them for 43 people.
Yeah, but that's a lot different than the park, because we have an actual infrastructure. We don't have just, one line coming up into a wall and then split 43 different ways inside of your house. So that's just like,
But that service is still being provided through our water
Yes.
tank and all our system here.
Yes, I
So
agree with
that's why the charges
I
are.
can see if you have a vacant lot that you're not putting water to or whatever. I don't know if we charge them that way or.
That's what we've been, and I think we were
That's what
kind of.
That's what we're agreeing not to do to you. You just let
Right.
us know that's not viable
Yep.
charge anymore. You call them and perfect, yeah, I follow that. But
Yep.
other than that, I think things will be pretty much status quo to this agreement that who's responsible for what.
Yeah.
You've defined your
So
role.
like
and
now,
defined our role.
I'm responsible for any breaks in the park.
Well, some of the problem was your dad wouldn't let us go on your property.
Yeah, but I'm not my dad.
I know. I've said that here.
Yeah.
And that's where it started.
And Johnny said
And
before,
I, even when we had a hookup from the alley by Wilman's there,
Yep.
we had a survey to tell you that the road property is in the middle of that street. But your dad forced us to spend money to say that this is our property, where we tied in by the stop sign.
Yep.
We had to spend that money to say that we can do this because this is ours.
Right.
And that's some of the conflict that we had.
Yeah.
And I've told these guys that Tom and Tom are 2 different people.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, he did.
And I just want to make things right,
Yeah.
right for the park, it's a business or whatever, and then right for the city. I mean, I love living here, I love this town, you know what I mean? I want to make things right and easier for everybody, but if there's usage and there's things that need to be taken care of, I think that it should be taken care of, whether it's on your guys' end or our end,
and that's what we're
and
just
do it
going
right.
off as past practice of what,
and get it right.
so.
So this agreement here that we have right here will include, we'll have the attorney write that in about not the vacant property at that time will not pay those fees.
Right,
But you have to contact us, let us know, though, right?
Exactly.
Correct? Okay.
yep.
And you're
So
keeping
if
one,
there's not a meter, if it's not hooked up, because people will just leave their house, so the lot won't actually be vacant. There'll be a house there, but there's
There'll be a
nothing
structure.
actually.
I meant occupied, let's do it that way.
Yeah, occupied.
and you're retaining ownership of the infrastructure in the park.
Correct.
No, that's a fair request, I don't have a problem with that. Just keep letting us know, and then, you shouldn't have to pay on then all those other little fees that tack onto that too, so.
Right.
I think that's good. Anything else from the council, any council members? Mr. and Mrs. Gibson, any questions?
No, no.
We're pretty clear here?
Yes.
And then once again, this will be fine tuned before it comes
Yeah,
back to us?
we'll go back and
Yes.
forth, I'm sure, a little bit, and bring something back to the council for approval.
So do we want to tentatively approve this agreement as is, or do you want to hold off on that, Ryan?
I would just make a motion to direct myself and the city attorney to work with the Gibsons to have an agreement drafted to bring back for, obviously.
I will make that motion. Is there support?
Support.
Support by Brandon. Further comment or question? Hearing none, all those are hearing no other questions. Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Thank you for your time. Okay.
you.
And we'll
Appreciate
keep
it.
working on this till it'll be perfect for you and us.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Okay, that takes care of, we jumped ahead a little bit, remember, that was 5J is off the docket. So now we'll go to 5A, Woodbridge / Whiteside sidewalks, discussion, then
Do you
approve
wanna
or
jump
reject.
in?
Oh, what's? Okay. Ryan, just want to highlight that real
Yeah.
quick, it's pretty self-explanatory, so.
This is mainly just informational. There was talk about what we're gonna do with the sidewalks on Woodbridge and Whiteside. You see a copy of the assessment letter that went out. Working with the city engineer, we did a calculation of what it would cost to put sidewalk on both sides of the both sides of the street, I should say. I gave you some average costs of what it would cost for there. In the letter, I asked for feedback, and hopefully we'll receive some before that hearing on the 20th. But, for the council to make the best decision, they kind of need to hear from the preference on residents. So the options were given in that letter, and, on that 20th meeting, the council.
Have we had some response?
The letters went out the end of last week, so as you know, they have to go down to St. Paul and then come back to Buhl, so I would assume
So sometime
this
in the
week.
next few days that. Okay, well, we'll just monitor that. Just for the public's knowledge, the rough average additional costs were for a 25-foot lot were $190.50, a 50-foot lot $381, a 75-foot lot $571.50, and a 100-foot lot $762. So that, just so the public understands that, and I think that's reasonable. I think that's really quite a reasonable cost. To put in a sidewalk by yourself would cost much, much more than that, so. Comments, discussion?
This is times 60 though.
No, but I mean the individual person that's gonna pay
Yeah, that would be.
for that that sidewalk. I think it's reasonable, let's do it that way. But once again, I don't live there, so I don't have a sidewalk at my property, so. Further comment? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
No voting.
There's no vote.
necessary.
There's no vote? Okay, well, then that's taken care of. Let's move on to 5B, April 20th council meeting, change, okay?
Yeah,
Ryan?
Basically, since we have that public hearing at 6 for the Woodbridge Whiteside project, it makes sense to have the regular council meeting at the senior center following it. So just a motion to hold that meeting on the 20th at the senior center following the public hearing.
Just so everybody knows too, I'll be cutting real close to getting there on time, so usually I get there about 1 or 2 minutes before, but it might, if I'm held up a little bit. Stuart, you're the vice mayor, correct?
Or we can wait for you.
It's either one. I'll be there by 5 after, no, either or.
Okay.
Something crazy happens, but. So is there a motion to hold the April 20th regular city council meeting at the Buhl Kinney Senior Center following the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Okay. 5C, Resolution 21-24 on the Stubler lot. Ryan, just a quick update and then we'll,
This is just the standard procedure for selling another lot down at Stubler. They are aware of single-family home built in within 2 years and all the other requirements that come with those lots.
Do you know if this is any relation to the Dale Seppi that we sold a lot to?
Yes, it is. I believe it's his wife. And I've talked to both of them, and they plan on building separate homes.
But that's a husband and wife each purchased one lot.
Because
We shouldn't comment on this too much, we're public.
wasn't at that meeting we decided to sell them one lot? Are they gonna?
They scrapped that. They're aware, because I asked them the same question. You're aware you have to build a single family home on these separate lots within the time frame, and they are.
So they're not gonna build one and sell it?
I don't know if they're gonna sell it, or I'm assuming, yeah, they probably would sell one.
But that's their prerogative, they're filling out the paperwork and they're following our guidelines.
Well, the state mandates time period anyhow.
Right, okay, so
I mean, if they
just,
build it and sell it, you got, as an investor, it's 2 years or something you have to sit on it? I don't know.
I don't think there's a limit.
No.
There's a limit to get around capital gains tax on the sale, but either way, it's a home will be built. The
Yeah.
city will generate
Yeah,
revenue.
That's right.
they have a right to buy a lot, they have a right to build a house on there, according to our guidelines, so
As long
I
as
have
they
no
follow
problem with that.
the guidelines.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll
Yeah.
Well,
watch.
city and state, yeah.
So what happens there, sorry, kind of off topic, but what happens if somebody purchases a lot? What's the time frame? 2 years, turnkey home?
2 years,
Okay,
yeah.
we get to 2 months after 2 years and they have it shelled and that's it. What happens with that?
It would, according to the resolution that was passed, it would revert back to the city unless the council grants an extension.
Then they lose their money.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that property, any structure that's on it comes back to the city.
So that's,
Okay.
yeah,
That
unless
happened
we as a group decide that there was a mitigating circumstance that they came across or whatever. So,
Years ago down there, that happened,
Oh, really?
yes, I remember that.
so.
Okay, further comment? Is there a motion? Did we have a motion for this?
Nope.
Okay, is there a motion to approve resolution 21-24 on the sale of a Stubler lot to Carmen Seppa?
Also moved.
Moved by John, is there support?
Support?
Support by Brandon. Further comment? Hearing none? Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Clarich?
Yes. Okay. Now, this is once again just standard operating procedure. 5D is resolution 2125. It authorizes the mayor and the clerk to execute the sale of documents for the lot. Any comments or questions? Once again, this is part of the process.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, the motion by Stuart, is there support?
Support.
Support by John. Further comment? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Clarich?
Yes.
Reason being, we usually wait for the kids to show up to help out. June 7th through the 10th.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, just,
Wait,
He's jumping ahead of you.
yeah, you're ahead, we haven't got there yet.
oh, I thought you were talking about.
No, we're just finished that Stubler.
Oh.
Yeah, it kind of got me. You're absolutely right though, John. I've been on here long enough to know about now we'll move on to 5E, the spring cleanup dates. Ryan, just want to share that so the public hears this right now, live?
The recommended dates are June 7th through the 10th. You see the flyer that we'll distribute throughout town and put in an upcoming newsletter. The main points, residents will need to call City Hall or contact City Hall to be placed on the list for items to be picked up, whether they're paid or not. The reason for that is to protect the city from picking up something that they shouldn't. So we ask residents to call and let us know what we need to get. You kind of see some of the paid items: box springs, mattresses, love seats, couches, recliners, TVs, carpeting, tables. We adjusted the prices a little bit just to conform with what the county would charge the city to dispose of those materials.
I have a question. on a chair, are you talking about like a upholstered chair or a kitchen chair? What about somebody has one of those folding lawn chairs? Would that fall under chair also? Okay, I'm sure I'm gonna be asked that
Yeah, we
question.
kind of separate between the bigger recliners and kind of normal.
Everything else is pretty well self-explanatory, but I just wondered about a chair because, even like a little kitty chair or something, who knows what can pop up there, so.
Yeah, the county charges per chair. so we
Okay,
just
well,
kinda-
that's good to know. That's very reasonable. So, and the tires, it's a maximum of 8, and then $6 for every tire over 8. Just, I know those have been issues in the past. And then on those bicycles and lawnmowers, must have tires removed and oil drained from motors on lawnmowers, okay. Okay, is there a motion to approve the spring cleanup date, or dates, excuse me?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Brandon, is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Stewart. Further comment? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Clarych?
Yes. Get rid of that. Next one is 5F, the grader purchase discussion. Well, I'm just gonna start, Ryan, go ahead. Why don't you lead us into that? We have some experts here to talk about it, so.
So we've been looking at this for a while since our past grader went down. We've been renting the current John Deere from McCoy. They recently came back with kind of another offer for us that they would take 100% of what we paid so far in rent, which is about $27,520, and apply that full amount to the purchase price, and plus give us $15,000 for our current one, bringing that total to $167,480. I've been speaking with Chief McDowell just kind of regarding some things the county may have coming available. He's been keeping an eye on different auctions throughout the region for us, seeing what's, kind of what things are going for, and it kind of looks like everything's going for a little bit higher than what it's worth. Talking to Josh too, he did mention we were getting a good rental rate on that, and it was, what they're looking for. The price of the current one we're renting was fair with comparables. We did check, and Trent did some research with Ziegler to see what they had. I think what it comes down to is, what type of investment we want to make. I just don't know if what the county has coming available is really gonna be worth what we wanna pay for something, especially if we're getting recommendations from the source that, things may be going higher than what they're actually worth. So the thought from Trent, Diana, myself is, this might be the best deal we have to take, without losing that 27,000 and some odd cents we've already put into that machine for renting and things like that, and finance.
That's a great deal, actually, that they offered. You don't see that too often.
So, I don't know if Trent has anything to add.
Well, warranty, if you buy something from the county, it's not warranted. I mean, you get it. It could break down the next day and you might have a $25,000 bill or a $10,000 bill. This, we're covered for a while. And I think all the operators are happy with it?
There wouldn't be a warranty, Kalen. I talked to Kalen with McCoy today. He said that their guys had said that because we've had it for a while, they would just do like a 30-day service deal.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be, there isn't a warranty.
Well, we wouldn't have anything better anywhere else.
Well, with 2,200 hours on it, that's not very many.
That's how many hours are on that machine?
Yeah, 6-7 years old. Yeah, pretty good.
Okay, no, I'm sorry for not knowing, but
That'd be, he said it'd be a 30-day service and then 50% parts,
well, it's
just for those 30 days.
had a couple good storms here that's worked through, so.
What do we got in our capital
About 150,000.
Okay, so we're leaving 60 in the pot. Okay.
What, when did we get that thing? December?
December, I think, yeah. Middle of December, I believe.
So in the last 4 months, we put 73 hours on it? Do we, believe that, putting $167,000 into a grader is a good idea for that many hours?
And you're talking to the wrong person.
I'm talking to everybody. And if you look back
We
at
didn't
it,
have the normal snow. We use it in the summer.
but if you look back on the old one, how many hours, we're not putting that many hours on it.
Yeah, how many hours a year go on a machine like that, Trent?
Well, it all depends on the year, but I would say probably around 100 in a year.
I mean, we're not grading all summer long. We're not. To me, to have the city buy a $170,000 grader is, when we got a big project going on this summer. I mean, did we talk to Kalen to see if they're gonna, how long we can, like that money that we've already paid for the rental agreement, how long that they're gonna let us use that much?
I didn't speak to him specifically, but I mean, we're not gonna need to rent it, past our next, I think this is good through the middle of, or beginning of May, I think is when we would have to return this.
Right, I would say we could have returned it by now. I mean, we could.
Well, you never know.
We could
April. Oh, no. I've canceled school many times in April with
We could
10
get by
foot,
with a
10
truck.
inch.
Well, if you get something any older, you're gonna have a lot of hours on it, and you're gonna end up, you don't know what.
Oh, right.
I mean, to get something cheaper, you're gonna have to spend less.
You get what you pay for more often than not. And I think there's a little bit of a security blanket with this one.
Well, that machine, 100 hours a year, that should last the city.
Well, at worst, 200 hours a year, right?
Well, whoever
On a
had
bad winter.
Yeah.
it put on like 375 a year,
So
and whatever they did, construction or.
they put a new hour meter in 2015, November of 2015. They put a new hour meter in it. Right now, it has 386 hours on the old one.
Yeah,
What does that average up
that's
to? Not
1 year.
many. We're gonna pay $170,000 for a grader that we put 100 hours on? If that?
Well,
Well, we're spending $400,000 for a new fire truck that you might use once every 5 years. What's your logic there?
So, you don't wanna have fire protection?
No, I voted for it and I agree with these guys.
So do I, but
Well, it's the same logic,
It's the same principle.
or yeah.
It truly is. Stuart, I know where you're coming from.
I don't believe we should.
You want to
do
be
that.
fiscally responsible, but I don't want to be fiscally responsible. It turns out to be a nightmare for us and costs us more in the long run. This, I think we got a pretty good deal on. Everything I've heard. I've watched it in operation. I'm impressed. And I just think it's going to last for a long time.
And I think when we went from a 66 or 61 grader that I drove, and we went to that at 87, which we bought in probably 2000, or maybe in the late 1990s, the graders were only 20, 30, 40,000. Now they're not.
no,
Of course
nothing's
they're not.
cheap anymore.
It's,
I mean, used equipment's gone up and,
well,
but we're not gonna,
talked about the pickup trucks last time we were here.
if we buy a used one, we're still not spending that much money.
Well, do we have numbers on used ones? Any ballpark?
Well, this is a used one.
Yeah.
Well,
I just printed out the stuff that Ziegler has on their site.
do you have anything comparable? We're looking at 10,000 hours on something from the county?
So, print is on my printer is a piece of junk, I know I need to clean it. So like, okay, I'll just use this one, so in 1999 with approximately 11,000 hours, it's $70,000. And that's just 12 years more than we currently own.
12 years older.
And what do you want?
They want 70,000, that's if you're going an old, high-hour machine.
And that's about what they go for action, that many, you know.
Yeah, that's what, I use that one specifically because if we were to go the route of the county, that's probably the price that we could probably expect very soon. So I think they'd actually go higher than that because I haven't looked at the county's list for a bit, but I remember it was like, there's a 2005 with 11,000 hours. And so that'd be 10 years newer than the one I just talked about, so I wouldn't doubt that one's probably 100,000.
What's the lifetime on these machines? Like, 10,000 hours sounds like a lot.
That's what I think too, but I have no idea.
We got some that we're running at the county that got 18,000 hours on.
Okay.
Well, the 87 would be 30-some years old. 34 years old. The one we have now.
Yeah.
And if that was the same thing, this machine would be good for another 25 years. If the same thought was there, good for 30 years.
I believe we still have a little bit of time. I can, if it's not, that one's not going back till May.
Well, that's less than 4 weeks.
And from the county, we're not getting our new ones till around June 1st, so.
But we might end up one that they'd sell us that you've been driving.
I'm gonna move this along, this debate, because we can sit here and talk nickels and dimes forever. I'm gonna make the motion to approve the purchase of this grader under the terms and conditions that are listed here. Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, there's support. Further discussion now.
I have a question as far as, okay, so in our capital account, we have 150K. The way I run my business, I like to keep my money, okay? And we'll do financing, try to find low interest rates. I do know you can use cash collateral when lending, and it gets you into an interest rate that's like.
Oh yeah, they're gonna go through a bank, so Ecuador's like a percent or what?
Yeah, I mean, our finance would be like we did for the streets. It'd be like a cash secured 1%.
Okay.
Is what?
Okay.
Can't beat that.
Yeah. Well, I recently did that with
Good
something
point,
financially
Brandon.
with
I
ourselves.
like where you're going with this. Yeah, I was gonna say, we're gonna take out a loan for this. We're not gonna get cash strapped over or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Keep your
1%
capital.
is so minuscule.
Yep,
that-
exactly.
Yeah, what we kind of looked at as far as proposing, taking 90,000 out of the capital, we looked kind of ahead of what bigger purchases we're gonna have to make in the next couple of years. One being a lawnmower, which around 12,000, the other probably a dump truck in 4 or 5 years or so, which gives us time to build that back up a little bit while not, throwing the city into a huge annual or biannual payment.
Gotcha.
What's a
Every
new
year
dump
that-
truck cost?
Every year that he budgeted $200,000 for the year, the maintenance people. Well, if he only spends 180, we roll that 20 into capital.
Okay.
From the 200. We don't just forget about it.
Yeah.
We keep it into his budget, but we just roll it back into capital.
Nice.
So you have that plus, if you did this in 5 years, you'd budget $5,000 or $10,000 to pay off the other 70,000 or whatever it was. That's kind of what's been done before. And I think we might have gotten by this year too, there wasn't that much snow. So I don't know the end of the year budget, but I think there's gonna be money left in there to roll it back into the capital.
Well, what I'd like to see here though too now, we're gonna approve the purchase of this. We'll come back with some final details. Maybe we don't wanna borrow 90 either. Maybe we'll just, maybe we'll borrow more than that. We'll only put 60 or 70 out of ours. Ryan, why don't you come back at the next meeting? Why don't you come back with a couple options for that for us? What if we, only put $60,000 down and carried the rest, or whatever would be needed? Working with the bank's been very good to us. So I think if we can get another deal like we've had in the past, I think we'd be remiss not to finance a portion of that, because we have, like I said, if there's a dump truck coming and at least one more lawnmower and things of that nature, let's just be on a good capital expenditure fund for repurposing equipment or purchasing new. Further comment? Hearing none, Ryan, take the roll, please.
Counselor Lehman,
Nay.
Counselor Carter,
Yes.
Counselor Marcus.
Yes.
Mayor Parich.
Yes. Okay, motion carried. And Stuart, I appreciate where you're coming from. Okay, the NEMMPA dues membership. Ryan, just real quick on that, this is standard, I'm assuming.
So this group was formed kind of officially about a year ago. It's a group that contains all the cities that purchase wholesale power through Minnesota Power. Back when this group originally formed, they had sent us an invoice requesting, $1,000. I had reached out to them, come give us some more information. That never happened, obviously. Now we're starting negotiations with Minnesota Power. I've talked to Greg French over in Virginia. He really didn't give me a good option why he never got back to me, but he requested, that the city join the group, and, if we were able to come up with the dues, which would offset, basically, they hired Dave Berg, who gave a presentation, Councilor Carter, I'm not sure if you were here for that yet, about the wholesale power and Minnesota Power and the upcoming negotiations, as well as the costing group to kind of set these 15 cities up for Minnesota Power negotiations, which a contract expires in 2024. And the reason why this is starting now is we have to give them, I believe, 3 years notice if we wish to explore options. Obviously, the goal with having everybody together is negotiating the best contract for our residents, our customers, and things like that. So
the 15 cities will negotiate with the power company as a whole.
yeah,
Direct.
Is gonna obviously give you better pricing.
yeah.
Oh, you mean the Costin Group, not the Constant Group.
Yes,
That's Gary, by the way, that's Gary Sirkvenik's company.
Yes,
And
that
Jeff Anderson's company. That's our city lobbyist also. He's the one that talked to me about this at great length a couple of years ago already, that they were gonna form something like this. And this Dave Berg, we've had dealings with him, and I'm very impressed with him. And then also with Gary, and I think that's a very reasonable rate. It wouldn't take much to get that money back.
Is this annual?
Yeah, it's an annual.
Okay.
And chances are after 2024, which whatever direction these negotiations go, that group will probably dissolve for a couple of years, because we'll be on a longer contract where it won't be necessary to have consultants and things like that to assist in these negotiations.
How long are those contracts good for? Is that like a 3-year term, or?
No, I believe
10 years.
10 years.
That's why isn't it an annual due? I mean, once you negotiate with Minnesota Power,
And you're good for 10 years?
yeah, why would you put money into this pot
10 years?
for 10 years?
I don't think we
We're
will.
not putting in for 10, I thought.
Well, it's an annual thing, you just said
What did
that.
I hear about 2024?
Well, the one thought would be a yearly cost.
Yeah.
Like I said, I don't see the need after these negotiations have
Right.
concluded, and there's no reason, so.
This is where we're currently at. And when does the next contract expire for us?
With Minnesota,
2024?
2024 is when,
So it's basically another couple of years, so. Unless they get it restarted, you have it before that if it's a mutual benefit to the 15 communities.
Are these other 15 communities in also? Or are we, 3 of us?
There's a few of the smaller ones that are
Yeah, it's.
outliers. I mean, we're sitting at the same table as essentially with Hibbing, Virginia, Grand Rapids,
Oh,
Is Brainerd in this?
Brainerd.
I mean, so we're kind of the
Yeah.
They are
fish,
paying-
but
they
then
are-
we're gonna piggyback off their
Yep.
usage. So we get included in that, so that
Yep.
will benefit us.
Well, everyone as a whole, I mean, it's.
Yep.
I contacted Tony Ward, which is, Tony retired from the city of Grand Rapids. He was past public utilities administrator over for Grand Rapids, and he had the water, the sewer, the power, whatever. He's willing to represent us, so when they go into the meeting, or if he was our chairman of the board when I was there.
Okay.
I mean, Tony.
For who? Who's he?
For this 15 towns.
Oh, okay.
I mean, him and Leone from Virginia these guys were smart. I mean, the other 13 of us kind of just like,
Okay.
anyhow. Tony knows this, understands this, he is willing to help us for nothing. I mean, we can give him $100 a meeting or whatever, but he's willing to just do it for Buhl. And he gave me his email and his phone number.
Well, he's gonna work closely with Dave Berg and Gary Skrenik, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're all
I
working
mean, Tony
contact.
just retired
There's no
from Grand
custom.
Rapids maybe 2 years.
Well, let's see how that works out then. So we don't, and so are you asking, John, that we use him as a resource also
Yeah,
then?
I mean, instead of you and Ryan going to the meeting, or Trent can go, you can go to the meeting, but have Tony, he understands.
Speak for us.
Speak for you. Because he understands what they're saying.
And he's doing that for the city of Buhl.
Yeah.
Okay.
He would
I
represent the
think we'd
city
be
of Buhl.
foolish. So, what you're saying, John, is you would like, this confidential agreement, or this dues membership, then to also have a second part to it that we will work with Tony Ward also. We will not set any type of fee there. He can come back to us if he gets,
The way he talked, he didn't
Yeah.
even ask, he's not even asking for that.
okay. I don't have a problem with that.
But this confidential agreement thing, I'm saying we should send this to him. He'll go over it and he'll tell us what direction we should be going and what we should be doing and not doing. Because I looked at this and I don't know, it's Greek. It's always been Greek. That's why we rely on Tony and Leone and actually the guy from Brainerd.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, up until.
But they're all part of this 15 consortium, so.
Well, hold on, no, you're talking about the confidentiality, that's the next.
Well, that's what that part I was talking about. I wasn't talking about
Are you talking about Tony for under item G or under item H?
age.
Okay, well, let's get G done first. Let's not move ahead.
Mr. Mayor, maybe we can, if the council wants to approve these dues, maybe we make a separate motion to designate Mr. Ward to be our representative to this board, or?
Under item G or under item H?
I would go under item G.
Okay, well, let's pass this membership discussion first. Let's get a motion on that first. Is there a motion to approve the $1,000 dues membership with NEMMPA?
Motion.
And I'll support that. I think this is very worthwhile. Like I said, I think we'll get our money back on that. Further comment just on that item? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman.
Yes.
Counselor Carter.
Yes.
Counselor Marcus.
Yes.
Mayor Clarych.
Yes, so now we're gonna take part 2 of this, where, Ryan, how did you want to state that we would use?
Well, like Counselor Marcus said, I mean, Tony Ward knows, he's been part of these
We want him to
negotiations.
represent the city, so we want a motion to have Tony Ward represent the city at in the Minnesota Power
Yeah, I mean, and as our,
contract discussions, for lack of a better term.
and then as our designee, he can kind of advise on the agreement.
I like that. I mean, we're getting another
Another person, but if we're paying Berg and the Constant Group, whatever.
Okay, but remember now, look at all the big cities in that group that's doing that. We'll have our own person looking out for our individual interests at no cost to us, who's very experienced at this. That doesn't mean that we can't, like Trent couldn't go to that, John couldn't go, or Ryan couldn't go.
Go to it, but yeah.
We can still go to that, but he's gonna know, and he's gonna just keep us appraised of what he thinks a small, I don't know, there's a couple smaller towns involved in this.
Keewatin and Nashwauk are
Right,
both part of
so-
Beacon.
Well, even consulting on some of that stuff, like you said, Greek, some of the language and
Well,
things.
he's an expert on it, and I'm sure, I'm very sure that he's probably in touch with Gary and with, what's the fellow's name that we've worked with before?
Dave Berg.
Dave. So, Mr. Marks, are you making a motion for that, to that effect?
Yeah, I make a motion to let Tony be our spokesman at our confidential agreements.
Tony Ward.
Tony Ward, yeah.
Okay. Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, further, it's just another chip in the game. Another set of eyes on this, and if something that he spots in there that would not be beneficial to us, we have to bring it up to the lobbyist group. And Gary will be looking out for us too, because he has double, triple role here, so. Further comment, concerns? Brian, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Okay, here we go. 5I, recycling bin locations, discussion.
Are we doing the coffin?
Oh, I missed the confidential.
That's what I made the motion for. Oh,
No, you made the motion to have Tony as our,
oh,
Yeah, H is,
we need to do each.
yeah.
So for this one, I think we should, I would recommend the council approve this upon review by our designee to that board.
I like that. That's how we'll use Tony then, as well as, okay. I think that's only fair. Then you'll get that to him this week, Ryan?
well, I have his email.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we can email
Well,
him.
just get it to him and ask
Counselor
him.
Marcus and I can give him a call tomorrow.
Yeah,
and
why don't you just
discuss.
talk to him? Yeah, that'd be the best.
I'll make a motion on.
Okay, motion by Stewart to approve the confidential non-disclosure agreement. Also, that's gonna be reviewed by Tony Ward on our behalf.
Support.
Support by John. Further comment, question, or discussion? Hearing none, Ryan, take the roll, please.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Mayor Claridge?
Yes. Okay, now I'm sorry, recycling bin location, 5I. Ryan, just want to highlight this because I think we'll all probably be wanting to weigh in on certain parts of this.
As you know, I mean, the current bins are located at the school, which is currently now on private property. We've had some issues with certain individuals throwing garbage and, not using that area as it's intended. The city, for liability reasons and the fact that it's private property, needs to find a solution on where they're gonna go. There's a couple areas I kind of highlighted on the map, one kind of across from the water tower, there's kind of an open area, the other down by the brush pile, things like that, and then Councilor Marcus had mentioned another one kind of back behind the football field, back along that fence line, but I think once we make a decision on where they're gonna go, I think the next logical step, I think we do need to secure them and we do need to monitor them. Otherwise, it's just gonna be a garbage dump that, essentially is costing the city money for contamination through waste management and also man hours picking up garbage, sorting through it. So I think the first big decision is where are they gonna go?
Well,
You're talking about a temporary move or a permanent move?
probably has to be permanent.
I mean, ideally, we don't want to keep moving them from.
Well, we've been doing permanent, but they've been moving every.
Well, I'll tell you what, the one that was by the city garage, that never should have happened, in my opinion. That wasn't fair to those neighbors. And that's why I want to stay away from any of the entrances into town. I don't want somebody coming in up the road by the bank and looking off into the side, and there's a messy area, and it is. I don't want coming up 25 coming in, so I really like down by the brush pile, so to speak, down in there. Trent, you do plow that in the winter, correct? Because you need access in there. I also like it down there because we can have surveillance through cameras. We can watch that road. We can watch the area. I'm also going to suggest we probably should have it certain hours when it's open and when it's not, so it's not carte blanche. That doesn't mean it's not going to stop somebody from going there and throwing something over the fence or anything, but we've got to look at this in a proper way. By the school, Johnny, that's a great idea. I thought of that too, but once again, someday, hopefully that will be developed. And then also it's kind of wide open now with all the brushiness that's taken place there. And of course this summer, our contractor Casper is going to be in there, so we couldn't possibly, I think, use that. It's another area that will have to be maintained and plowed by our people. The one coming in up from north, we do have a resident that's looking at building in that area, I believe. So I mean, I just want to be a good citizen to these people, a good city rights. That's what I'm looking at. I think it can be fenced in. We took a look at it when we were on our blight run the other day, and it's kind of put in there. But I'm hoping that if we kind of look at that today, maybe we can get General Waste to come, or Waste Management, whichever one they are, and come and meet with you and just stake out what we need, because we'd have to get that fenced. We'd have to go out for a bid to get that fenced in.
I would suggest that we would move it to whatever location, just let it sit for a while to see how it functions before we fence it in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because of how we moved it.
We moved them
so many
500
times.
times.
Yeah.
Okay, my next question then, is that a wetland that's right further west of that? That low area in there, is that a
You're
wetland?
talking about the,
Down at the brush pile.
yeah, it's a wetland, yeah.
See, I
And,
see, otherwise we're gonna have garbage blowing everywhere. I really do if we don't do it right off the bat.
I think if we put them down there, we're gonna have a lot of trash. Cause right now, if you go to the burn pile, there's trash in the burn pile, so.
But we can surveil that with cameras. We can watch that whole area.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have power there. Put lights there and have
You
power.
can put,
Well, there's power there.
but I'm just saying, you can have camera watching the road, camera watching directly right into that, the approach there, and then even this other area that goes past where the old dumping ground was. You can watch that whole area.
Do we have
People are dumping anywhere in the woods now anyway.
do we have an ordinance on people dumping garbage?
Yeah, I mean, there's ordinance, but it's the enforcement. I mean,
Hard to catch the people.
But if they're on camera, they can be ticketed.
I mean, in my opinion, wherever the city decides to move these, I don't think we should wait and see what happens, because we might be back here 2 months from now trying to figure out where we're gonna put them. I think we need to pick a location. I think we need to secure that location as soon as possible.
How long do we have, do you think, with the school before the owner there wants us to move? I'm sure it's gonna be in the next couple months.
Well, yeah, he wants it out as soon as.
Okay.
Well, every time you go there, the bins, like the cardboard's full every time I go there. I'm walking around picking up everybody else's stuff. I wouldn't want that on my property either, you know?
And I think that's what a fence does. You know,
Catch it,
if it does fill up, you know, we close the gates and we lock it, and we have that camera out there for anybody throwing stuff over the
Well,
fence.
I think we're gonna have multiple cameras. I don't think we're gonna have a camera. We're gonna let people know that we're serious about this. It's good for the environment, it's good for us, and have certain hours for that, so it's just the way it is.
Some signage too. to express it, no dumping.
I've seen on the All Things Buhl Facebook more last year, but on some of these trails around here, these 4-wheel trails, they're finding everything out there.
Well, I wanted to bring that up, maybe, I know it's off topic, but maybe one day we can get a dumpster and a group of us go hit the woods with our pickups, and so me and my boy were just out the other day, and it is.
What area? West of town?
Yeah, you go just right outside of town here, and people.
Well, let's look at that for the summer, once it gets dry, so it's not gonna be all
Yeah,
muddy and
yeah.
wet. I think that's great, I think the city should sponsor something like that.
It'd be awesome.
Work at, with that Northern Tracks, work in conjunction, just let them know, hey, we're gonna be out there, and we just
Yeah.
want you to know.
Yeah, that'd be excellent.
But let's get back to our item at hand, and I guess I'm trying to make a push for the area down by the brush pile there, and I think it can be secured. I think we can put cameras on there, and these can be high-resolution cameras. We can put signs out on the old 169 saying this is
Yeah.
the area, number one, is under surveillance, and let them know what the hours are, and also law enforcement can be checking that more often.
Is there a location down there specific? I mean, are we going near the brush pile right down in there, or
No, it's next to the buildings.
next to the buildings?
Yeah,
In
just
between those.
kinda west, a little northwest of the building that's there, the garage, the big garage,
So as you pull in there before you get to the garage, off to the right?
yeah, yeah.
That grassy area?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's like an opening to those two buildings. That's what I said about wetlands, because if you look through there, if you go 400 or 500 yards,
Yeah.
it's swampy in there, there's
Yeah.
no doubt.
If we have it fenced in to catch anything blowing around,
We don't know what the cost of fencing is gonna be, or?
Kinda depends on location. So, Trent and I looked at, and they were like, give us dimensions in an area. Well, until we pick a location, it's kinda tough to come back. I don't like the idea of waiting to secure this area. I think we're gonna have a bigger mess than,
yeah, we gotta get it off that private property, that shouldn't be.
so
And that's why I was saying that, Trent, if we get them to come down there, I'll go down, Ryan, go down and just kind of try to lay it out and say, what space requirements do they need to keep those big dumpsters so, and make it so, they can make a circle in there.
Yeah, they gotta get the trucks in there.
Plastics or and what they need, and, but I think, please don't take this wrong, out of sight, out of mind, rather than on the entrances to Buhl.
Yep.
And no, we had problems with that spot. That was a good spot up there on the hill, but once again, they were dumping everything up there behind the old power plant. And I certainly wouldn't want to, it might have worked nice for us with that spot down by the garage, but that was not fair to the residents down there, in my opinion. So that's what I'm throwing out there right now. Wherever you want to go with this, gentlemen, I'm open to it, but I'm just putting my vote in where I think we should start with first, and I think I'm with Ryan. I think we should go down there and get it fenced in, get the stuff moved, and let the people know. And be in contact with the guy at the school, let him know.
I'll make a motion on that. To move it down by the sewer plant.
Thank you for the motion. Is there support?
Support.
Okay. I think we're kind of on the same page. Like I said, Johnny and I and Ryan looked at it, and I kind of thought, well, maybe it's not big enough, but I think the area is big enough. But we've got to get is it general waste?
waste management.
Waste management.
Yeah. So we'll have them take a look, and we'll come back at the next meeting with quotes for.
I think that would be
fencing and
great.
stuff.
I think that would be great.
As
And in the
long as-
meantime, if people want to take a ride down there and just kind of see what we're talking about, and
Yeah,
go from there.
have some cost on this and stuff for the next meeting.
Yeah, I think waiting to fence it in is gonna, I think it's gonna be.
It would be a disaster down there.
It's gonna be a disaster. It's gonna already be a disaster.
I mean, this way too, it makes
I
it.
feel the gentleman at the school's been very patient with us. Okay, we have a motion second. Further comment or discussion? Hearing none, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman.
Yes.
Counselor Carter.
Yes.
Counselor Marcus.
Yes.
Mayor Clarich.
Yes. Okay. Slow but sure. Okay, now we're down to, we've already done J, so now we're gonna go on to K, councilors' comments. Stuart, I'm gonna start with you.
Mr. Mayor.
You had your junk vehicles or something here?
Oh, I forgot, yeah, I did write it on my, I've got it right here. I'm sorry, the next one on here is, what is K? I just didn't write it in.
21.
Motion to approve ordinance 21-02 about a junk vehicle ordinance. And Ryan, would you just highlight this? And I think it's, everybody in the town knows about what vehicle we're talking about. This just came out of nowhere on us.
Yeah,
I'm not impressed with what happened.
Yeah, this, I've received over the past day and a half, a lot of complaints about a certain vehicle parked on Forest Street. I've talked to the Chisholm PD, I've talked to our attorney in St. Louis County, and how our ordinances are kind of reading with that certain vehicle being registered and up to date on licensure and stuff. We don't have anything that necessarily addresses this particular issue. I mean, it's almost impossible to have an ordinance state every simple thing. So talking to Captain Hager over there, he passed along what Chisholm has on the books as far as the city and essentially the Buhl Chisholm Police Department being able to address this particular issue. And you see that language, it would basically say it's unlawful for any person to stop, park on, or leave standing any vehicle on any street for a continuous period in excess of 24 hours. Obviously, this would be used as a discretionary tool for instances like this, when calendar parking is in effect and things like that. If someone's vehicle who's in good operating condition is parked on a street, there's not causing any negative to anybody, but it's a good kind of piece of language that's going to allow the city to address these certain issues.
I can't believe that it's even classified as a vehicle. What's there? I mean, that's.
Yeah, well, here's my question, is that going to include like ATVs and other motorized licensed vehicles?
We do have, yes, those would be considered vehicles.
Okay, because I've seen, I'm not gonna mention areas, there's ATVs in alleyways and stuff.
Yeah.
That are in non-running condition laying around.
So this would be included, that's what I'm hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Yep.
We have ordinances
Good question,
like
good point.
that specifically address things like that are sitting on people's property as public nuisances and blight, but being it's on a street.
It's in an alleyway, that's a street.
Yeah, so it gives us a little bit more flexibility to deal with these. Obviously, they're nuisances,
Unregistered vehicles, and this one in particular, obviously, we need something to go on.
And Ryan, you did consult also with the sheriff's department, they referred you kind of back to the Chisholm.
Yeah, I did just trying to deal with it sooner rather than later. I did contact Jason Akerson, the managing deputy over in Hibbing, just because Forest is a county road, to see if there was anything.
He was here this afternoon.
Was he?
The sheriff was there for quite a while.
So,
The Chisholm cop came right after that, so.
So yes, we have
They
had some
were there.
complaints for residents, and we're working on it as fast as we can.
I'm glad that you're responding to the citizens' complaints, because I think it's a very valid complaint.
Oh, yeah.
It's also a safety issue, is that car is not complete, it's on the inside of that parking line. It's outside of that, I could see somebody could clip it if two cars were coming. It's a nuisance there, kids riding bikes, horsing around could run into it, or maybe not even, just riding and they have to swerve for something.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
think this is a great ordinance.
this is just addressed as kind of one of those technicalities that doesn't fit in what we have on the books, and
And this way we have a way to,
it's unfortunate we have to deal with this like that for certain individuals, but
Is there a motion to approve ordinance 21-02 on the junk vehicles?
motion.
Motion by Brandon, is there support? Okay, Stuart. Further conversation, I think we've discussed this quite well, and it was good that we had an example like that to go by,
Yeah.
so that people know what we're talking about. So, no further comment? Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman,
Yes.
Councilor Carter?
Yes.
Councilor Marcus?
Yep.
Mayor Clarich?
Yes. Okay,
Mr.
now.
Mayor, before we start councilors' comments, I think Assistant Chief Erickson has a
Oh,
report.
I'm sorry. You should have hollered earlier. I would have chewed it out.
Nothing big, just kind of giving an update on where we're at. Hopefully within about 2.5 weeks, we should have the new truck here. So it's gonna be done.
So when do we have to expand? It can fit in there, right?
Find the
It's
prints.
gonna be tight. We told you it was
Okay.
gonna be tight. We knew it was gonna be tight. But yeah, we're gonna have to look at that other option.
So,
We gotta move some, I haven't even talked to you yet, but we gotta move some wiring when we move our last truck over, which they're ready. So
you've given us a proposal what you'd like to do already, correct?
Ryan has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have that, so it's just a matter of,
We took our initial one and we downsized it, we changed it up a little bit and kind of more realistic. And it's very plain Jane,
Yeah, we're getting some numbers.
how much of a priority is that? Does it have to be done like right now, or can we wait a few months, or where are you at with the expansion of the fire hall? Just for general information.
it's gonna be tight.
Can we, if we're looking at that new addition on the north side, make that stall for that truck?
What we wanna do,
And then you can room off another door?
if we had to do that, yeah, our overall was trying to get like 36 feet.
Yeah.
And
And I'm
then,
saying if we put that addition on, make that size.
What-
And
Explain to me,
Or I'm not sure.
36 feet, what does
we're
that
talking
mean?
about parking a new truck. Weren't we looking at putting, because the north side of the fire hall is wood, it's made to expand
right,
going north. If we put that addition on there, we'd make it big enough for the new truck.
right, and that's what the addition that we talked about was.
What are the rough dimensions of that new addition? Just,
Same depth, 36 feet wider.
36.
are there trees on the side of it that we'll have to take
There's a
out?
couple
Yep.
lines that gotta come down, but there's no utilities in there.
We'll have to pour a slab,
Well, I guess three slab, but
a drain,
Capture drain, which you can.
water,
type-
or can you
tap
just
into
run the
or
water
to our
from
other,
the stall next to it, or
What's that?
water? Is it neat? No? Okay. Yeah, I guess we should start looking at getting that drawn up and get that and approve something.
Yeah, we're getting, I got
You're
it.
making me nervous now, you keep saying it's tight.
No, it wasn't bad. It's gonna be tight. I mean,
Yeah.
engine one has some lights on it that blink at you when you have doors open. Well, they had blink now, they didn't blink, the light would come on, and your wing door was open. Well, we had to put another light in there that blinks at you and says your doors are open, don't
Okay.
pull out of the hall. We ripped the doors off.
Well, I think it's something that we need, just like we needed the fire truck, so let's get on that and work on that as ASAP.
Yep.
Yeah,
We'll have to look for some funding.
Yeah, we're-
I think there's a couple spots we can go
that
do.
one's locked though, we could actually put a bigger door in there, couldn't we?
What's that?
On our new fire hall, we could actually make a door bigger. It's
It's all
blocked.
block on the front side.
I know. I mean, you could cut the block and make, instead of a 12-foot or 10-foot wide garage door, you'd have a 14-footer. You still have the stem for support.
If we're gonna go bigger on the end, then
The door that's going that way, the addition, we actually upsized the garage door to that to accommodate that bigger.
Okay.
I think it'd be cost.
Okay, do we need an architect to draw this, I suppose, huh?
I think it's simple enough that we don't,
Legally, we're gonna have to, I think we should maybe contact
Well, no, let's
AR.
see what the guys come up with.
We have the drawing, it's done like on a CAD system.
Yeah, let's see what they got.
But it's still, I want a legal requirement.
Yeah.
We just don't want to create a lawsuit down the road because it was constructed wrong, or, a
Well,
lot
we'll
of
just blame
stuff.
it on you, that's all.
Why not? Yes.
I'll get in touch with ARI.
Scott,
Yeah.
I'll actually see him in a couple of weeks too. I'll kind of fill him in a little bit. Okay. I guess we're clear. Did we take a vote on this yet?
No, it
We
was
have a motion and support.
It's just a
Oh,
That was about it.
Unless the
Okay.
council wants to direct me to contact Architectural Resources and get.
I'll
the
make a
drawing.
motion to direct Ryan to look at, after discussion with the fire department and their officers and everything, about options for sizing the new fire hall to meet our new requirements with the new truck. Is there support?
I'll support if I can.
I think you can.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, we're not voting on anything.
not monetary
There's
for
nothing
me.
monetary yet. Okay, further comment? All those in, Ryan, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yes.
Counselor Carter?
Yes.
Counselor Marcus? Mayor Claridge?
Aye. Yeah, I want to move this along, get this going.
Appreciate that, thank you.
Boy, we've got a lot of stuff going on coming up. Recycling, the sewer water project, we're still looking at that water tank and a lot of good things. I mean, that's good. We're progressive on this, so that's great. Now can I go to councilor comments?
Yeah.
Stuart, I'll let you lead off.
Nothing really. I think we've, some of us taken some complaints from citizens in the community about their neighbors. It's sad to hear that people have to be not good neighbors. So that's, I don't know what to tell you, but
Well, you're not being specific enough. John, I didn't turn you in honestly, but.
I don't want to call
Well,
somebody out.
we're aware of a few things that are going on, and I will give credit to the Buhl Chisholm Police Department. They do follow up on concerns and complaints. At least look at it and see if it's breaking the law. But okay, so I'll just have to talk to one of these days, see what's popping up there. So I don't want you to be too specific, so that we single anybody out.
But I
Yeah,
just
no.
want to tell people to be a better neighbor, be respectful, be, clean up, but don't, it's a shame we have to have stuff like this junk car sitting on the street or people driving in their grass.
Well, the blight, we went out on the blight run, and law enforcement will be doing some blight things. I don't know if this is about personal issues between people or if it's physical manifestations, but whatever. Okay.
So I just wanted to tell people to be a better neighbor, please.
Can't we all just get along? Isn't that the old line?
Yeah, be respectful to your neighbors.
Okay. Good point. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. Brandon?
I don't really have too much. We kind of discussed that cleaning up the woods thing. I wanted to bring that up because it's very near and dear to me. Me and my kids play out in the woods all the time, and I think maybe that's something that,
It's a safety issue.
yeah, it is. And I don't know where the city's boundaries are headed west here, but as soon as you get outside of town, there's couches and everything out there. And
We used to have sense, we'd provide the truck and a loader, but we had sense to serve these guys.
Yeah.
They would come and cruise. And from the water tank to the white side, that old railroad track where they have the bike trail now,
yeah,
you couldn't believe that.
yeah.
And everything that was down in the ditches, and the DNR and Sense to Serve came in and they had those guys haul everything up to the town,
nice.
and we hauled it away, but
It's not only here, unfortunately, it's everywhere. It's everywhere, by lakes, by big towns, small towns, whatever, but I commend you for bringing that up, and hopefully we can work something out and get that taken care of when we get some nicer weather in maybe June.
Definitely.
It'd be nice if people, they know that's happening and they know who's doing it. It'd be nice if someone just turn them in, just to kind of cut back on it, because
Yeah, you gotta
it's
turn them
always a
in, man.
problem.
I mean, if you gotta get rid of something, I gotta pick up, I mean, it goes back to the neighbor thing, The guy's got a couch, you can't get to the dump.
A lot of times I almost need a pickup to move it anyway, so.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's all you got it there.
anything else, Brandon?
that's all.
John?
No, nothing. Oh, I was gonna say something and I forgot.
Okay. for mayor's comments, I really didn't prepare anything, but I did get a phone call today from the disc golf course people that there's some vandalism going on out there. And they're throwing boulders like this into they ruined one of the nets or the baskets that they put the frisbee into, and it's going to be like $500 to get it fixed. And these were huge, so it's not little young kids being mischievous. They got to be fairly strong.
If you have a chance to talk, we actually do have spare parts for that stuff.
Okay, well, but Troy called me today. They were going to go disassemble it and do whatever. He sent me a picture. It's huge. And I sent it to Ryan. Ryan, if you want to send that out. Did you get the picture?
I didn't get the picture.
Okay, I'll send that.
Where are they getting these rocks? I mean, is there?
Right there,
There's
I'm sure.
something
Yeah.
around
But you know, that's a big net there, so you know it's got to be
Yeah.
this big to get in there. So that's one of the other reasons that I was kind of pushing the recycling down there, because we can get that one road that four-wheelers and dirt bikes go on. We can kind of nail some things down. Also, I'm going to actually look to see what other kinds of security we can have. We can let the Buhl Chisholm Police Department know about. We can let the sheriffs know every once in a while, take a ride out there. But there may be some other security things. But I think that with the cameras that we have there, we may be able to at least watch some of the traffic going that way. And maybe there's other options that we can do out on the site. And one of the things when Troy called me today, he mentioned that there was a couple of young girls that were walking, and two mini bikes, for lack of a better term, came around the corner and just about drilled both of them. I mean, and they weren't going slow. I mean, they were really wheeling, but that's what most people do on a mini bike. I'm very aware of that, but you gotta watch when you're on blind corners, things of that nature. So I just wanted to bring that up, and that's all I have. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Stuart. Is there support? Support by Brandon. Brian, please take the roll.
Counselor Lehman?
Yeah.
Counselor Marcus?
Yes.
Counselor Carter, sorry. Mayor Clarich?
Yes. Meeting adjourned at 7:55.